Domino, and today we're doing Bodyguard versus Bodyguard. So I watched the Netflix show when it came out on Netflix, but I wasn't doing YouTube back then. Lucky for you, I am now. Still to this day, when I hear Bodyguard, I think of Kevin Costner. She apparently thinks of David Budd. I think it's because she's too young. So today, we're gonna do a battle royale to see who is the better bodyguard. The only way to do this fairly is to Google what makes a good bodyguard. What makes a good bodyguard? Loading, loading, loading. Keep that page a-loading, loading, loading, loading. Right. Okay, so, in the words of Mario, here we go! I had to use a few pages from Google to compile a list to create our scorecard. Number 1, have job knowledge. Number 2, situational awareness. 3, integrity, honesty, and trustworthy. 4, dependable. 5, ability to work without supervision. 6, communication skills. 7, common sense and good judgment. 8, self-confidence. 9, rigorous training. 10, military experience. 11, good writing skills. 12, good customer service. 13, the ability to handle a firearm. 14, martial arts training. 15, above average intelligence. 16, flexible work schedule. 17, resourcefulness. 18, lack of ego, discretion, and humility. 19, professional driving ability. And 20, physical fitness. I think that is a good place to start judging our contestants. To be as fair as possible, we're not going to make any assumptions other than what the facial expressions of David Budd are. Because if the writer, director, or anybody else behind the scenes wanted us to really know that they were a good bodyguard, they should have just Googled it. In the right corner, we have Kevin Costner playing Frank Farmer back in 1992. In the left corner, we have Richard Madden playing David Budd in 2018. Let's start our journey taking a right. The first thing on our list was job knowledge, which he comes in all bossy and starts yelling at people to change this, change that, trim these shrubs here. I think that deserves a point. Number 2, situational awareness. Is he really the only one that noticed that big Hurricane beastie, I think it was a Chevy something, following behind him? Guys, he follows you everywhere you go, whatever, he gets a point. Number 3, integrity. I just want to point out here, he knew before sleeping with her that he wasn't going to want to continue sleeping with her or be her bodyguard at the same time. So, but then again, he doesn't really do anything else that really jeopardizes his integrity, so half a point. We'll give him half. Number 4, dependability. Yep, he's pretty dependable. Another point. Number 5, works well without supervision. He's the boss, so he's a supervision. There's a point. Number 6, communication skills. I mean, he's pretty good at communicating with people. He's just a jerk. But that doesn't really ding his communication skills. So there's another point. Number 7, good judgment. Okay, so when he decides that it's a good idea to take her out to this family cabin and let her get to know his dad and let the dad get to know the kid and have this bonding experience with no intention of actually having a relationship with her, I think that's very poor judgment, especially after he made it very clear that he didn't want a relationship with her because he wants to be her whatever. It's just, no point. Number 8, self-confidence. Yeah, he's definitely got some self-confidence. He's definitely very full of himself. Number 9, rigorous training. I mean, the only training we get to see is him throwing those 5 knives, which he misses 2 of them. So does that count as 3/5 of a point? Nah, box that, you didn't get a point. Number 10, military experience. He did work for the Secret Service, but the Secret Service is not the military, so I guess no point. Number 11, writing skills. I was looking for writing skills as I was watching, and I didn't see him write anything. There was somebody else that followed him around with a clipboard, but that's not really his writing skills, so no point. Number 12, customer service. Yeah, no. He's more like a Walmart associate. A little rough around the edges. No point. Number 13, firearm experience. Well, They show us right in the beginning him handling all these guns, but then again, when they're at the cabin and he takes the shot at the guy, he misses him. Seriously. What the? At least he shoots the bad guy in the very end. So since he took that shot, but he took it a couple times to take the shot, you know what? He gets a point. Number 14, martial arts training. I think martial arts is not exactly the term I would use here, but we did get to see him fight and he did punch pretty well, so I'm just gonna go ahead and give him the point. Above average intelligence. I wouldn't say that he's above average intelligence, but I would say that he's, you know, he's a smart guy. Just averagely smart guy. No point. Number 16, a flexible work schedule. Seeing as how we saw he had no social life other than his job, he gets a point. Number 17, resourcefulness. Now here, this was an epic scene where she like falls into the crowd and he just grabs this biggest fire extinguisher I have ever seen and just starts fire extinguishing the whole crowd. Way to put out the party. I love it. Yeah, point. Number 18, lack of ego. This poor boy is pumped so full of his own ego that he doesn't get a point. Number 19, driving ability. Seems how he taught the chauffeur how to drive defensively. He gets a point. Number 20, physical fitness. I don't know how to say this without sounding a little perpy, but we don't get to see anything. We don't get to see him working out. We don't get to see him with his shirt off. We don't get to see him with his pants off. No butt, no point. Now that we're talking about butts, let's turn left. David Budd. Number 1, job knowledge. He does appear to know his job, so there's a point. Number 2, situational awareness. Seeing as how majority of that show, we just get to see really close-up views of his face, looking around all intently. Very intently. We're gonna give him a point. Number 3, integrity and honesty. So there's a lot more plot in the TV show than there is in the movie, so there's a lot more lying going on in the TV show. And if David actually admitted to knowing the shooter and saying that he was his friend, I would have given him a point here, but he didn't. And he's a liar pants, so no point. Number 4, dependable. Seeing as how he was really dependable and reliable when she was alive, I'm gonna go ahead and give him the point even though he falls off the deep end after she dies. Number 5, work without supervision. Yeah, he's another boss, so he gets a point. Number 6, communication skills. So his communication skills with his bosses suck because they're trying to frame him. But his communication skills with his crew, he seems to have pretty good rapport with them, and he's always talking on his mic, lavender this and lavender that, lavender and lavender. I'm gonna have to give him a half a point. Number 7, common sense and good judgment. So in the very first scene with the bomb and the girl in the bathroom, intense, I have to say that was really good judgment on his part. Being able to pick up on who's the bomber, what's going on, like good judgment, good common sense. But as for the rest of the TV show, I think it's a really wibbly wobbly, wibbly wobbly. So I'm gonna have to give him just a half a point. But I'm gonna throw a point to the TV show because that was a killer scene. Number 8, self-confidence. That boy walks like a stallion, but he's really messed up in the head, and the only people that know he's messed up in the head are the people that are the closest to him until she dies and he completely loses it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give him a point for some self-confidence, because while he was bodyguarding, he was pretty self-confident. Number 9, rigorous training. We don't actually see him do any training. No point. Number 10, military experience. I thought about giving him a point here, just out of, sympathy for all the PTSD we see him suffer, but PTSD doesn't make a good bodyguard. 1 point. Only 1 point. Number 11, good writing skills. So he gets pulled back in for an interview about what happened with the shooter. And then he says that he will amend what he said, but apparently they needed to call him in there because his writing wasn't... No point. Writing's not good enough. Number 12, good customer service. So even when he's really pissed off and mad at people, he's still calling him ma'am. Point. Number 13, ability to handle a firearm. Are we gonna talk about how he can't suicide properly? Nah. So he has a blue card, which means in the UK that he's okay. So he gets a point. Number 14, martial arts skills. I like to think that ex-military are capital B, capital A, but I didn't realize that I was disappointed about this until this list made me watch Bodyguard. He doesn't fight with anybody. Like, even when he gets abducted and put a bomb on his chest, he's like, "No, guys, go ahead and take me." What the? The closest thing we see to him fighting anybody is when he grabs the weakest guy and throws him up against the wall. What the? I just lost my shoe. I lost my shoe. No point. Number 15, above average intelligence. So a little off topic here. I've been watching a lot of House recently. So Bud's a pretty average guy. No point. Number 16, flexible schedule. Since they didn't directly say that his marriage is falling apart because he's not there, blah, 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 I'm just gonna have to say that since he's always available for work, he gets a point. Number 17, resourcefulness. So in the scene where we have the shooter shooting at them, the car, blood everywhere, brains, he gets out of the car and then he uses his phone to see where the shooter is. Like, that's pretty resourceful. But there's a whole bunch of other resources he could have used. Instead, he decided to get himself into a bind. I'm just gonna have to give him half a point here. Number 18, lack of ego. So with Frank, we saw his ego just spilling out of his pores. But with Bud, we get to see more of this broken man trying to find his own way kind of thing. Yeah, I'm gonna give him a point. Number 19, professional driving ability. If you are able to, while being covered in somebody else's brain matter, throw that in reverse and just back it on up, you deserve a point. So he gets one. Number 20, physical fitness. So I don't know how to say this without sounding really pervy. But there's like 5 minutes of conjoined sexy time in that show. And she's only around for 3 episodes. So, point? Ding, 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 ding! The match is over. We got Frank coming in at 11.5 points and David coming in at 13.5 points. But, what is that? What is that you say? She died? Yep, looks like we're gonna have to take this into consideration. The whole point of being a bodyguard is to guard the body, preferably a living body, which David failed to do. With that taken into consideration, I'm going to have to give the match on over to Frank, even though David would have won, but failed at the simple task of keeping them alive. I would like to give him credit for catching her killers, but I feel that that's not the responsibility of a bodyguard, that's the responsibility of a detective. And I did Google what it would take to be a good detective, and I mean, he does have a lot of those skills, so I think he needs to rethink his life choices. Thanks everybody for sticking around and watching my nonsense. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. If you just want to see my face and actually see her face, go ahead and follow us on Instagram at This Is Having a Bad Day. Thanks for watching. Wanna go outside? Let's do it without the Walmart joke, because man needing to cut that. Yeah, it's gotta have the Walmart joke in there. It's just got to. Now, I mean, bitches may be very harsh about this. Hello, TARDIS. Goes into the office to do some research. So he gets pulled off he gets pulled off dizzy! Hold on. What is it? Line! The whole point of being a bodyguard is to body the guard.